This is my introductory video to Book 3 of my Forestera's Fate series. Book 3 is titled The Wizard's Tower and Dragon Mountain. Preface. What is Dungeons & Dragons? Quote, the new D&D is too rule intensive. It's relegated the Dungeon Master to being an entertainer rather than master of the game. It's done away with the archetypes, focused on nothing but combat and character power, lost the group cooperative aspect, bastardized the class-based system, and resembles a comic book superheroes game more than a fantasy RPG. Who said that? Gary Gygax, the creator of Dungeons & Dragons. That's who. Now, when he said that, he was referring to 3rd edition, but in my opinion, 5th edition is just a modified version of 3rd. So I think what he said here still applies. The main problem that I have, again, just my opinion, is that Wizards of the Coast sanitized and watered down the game, and basically turned it into our modern day concept of everyone gets a trophy, which totally defeats the purpose of the game. To me, Wizards of the Coast represents everything that's wrong with Dungeons & Dragons. While any old school gamer who reads my books will easily see the concept of old school D&D in my story, Forestera's Fate isn't about any specific edition of the game. Rather, it's about what I believe is the spirit of the game. That's what I was trying to capture when I wrote it. Regardless of which edition of the game you prefer, D&D should be a challenge. It should be difficult. Death should be a real possibility, and going up levels should be hard, not easy. Wizards of the Coast did away with all that, with their silly death saving throw rule, so that your character won't die when they should have died, and only needing 300 experience points to go up to 2nd level is just insulting. That's not a challenge. What is the point in playing a game that's easy? The whole point of D&D was that it was hard. That's why we played it. That's why we fell in love with it, because being hard is what made it great. But if you look at the game from a practical point of view, today's game makes even less sense. In a typical medieval village, most people would be 0-level villagers. Guards would be anywhere from 0 to 2nd level fighters. 3rd level fighters would be corporals or sergeants, while 5th level or higher would be for captains. Only a few people were higher than 2nd level, while the masses were just 0-level villagers. But in today's version of D&D, most people would probably be 3rd level or higher, and lots of people would be 5th or higher, because it's not hard to get there. It's quite easy, which makes no sense at all. Getting your character to 9th level or higher was considered the ultimate achievement, and very few would ever achieve it because it was hard to achieve it. That was the point. But now, who cares that you're a high-level character? So what? Big deal. By all means, play whatever edition you want, and play however you want. But just realize that today's D&D is nothing like what D&D used to be, and why anyone would prefer to play D&D that's easy instead of hard and challenging, I'll never understand. Introduction. Meet the party. The party, having finally found Shayla's armor in the Caves of Ordered Randomness, are now back home in the village of Duran for a little rest and relaxation, and then they'll head out for the Wizard's Tower to try to find her crossbow. But after finding her armor, along with the Staff of Dragons, the Staff of Ordered Randomness, and the Wand of Ordered Randomness, and after defeating the strange armored guardians, there have been a few changes that have taken place, as some of them have achieved another progression level, let alone their new party members. So here's what our adventuring party now looks like. The adventuring party. Latia is a ranger who has now achieved the 4th progression, as well as a druid of the 5th progression. When she achieves the 6th progression as a druid, she'll receive an interesting druid ability. Lightmane is a fighter who has now achieved the 5th progression, and also a magic user of the 4th progression. Yes, I initially referred to Lightmane as a warrior wizard, but those classes were originally called fighter and magic user, and I just like how fighter magic user sounds. Nightwind is a fighter who has achieved the 6th progression. Once he achieves the 7th progression, his fighting skills will improve significantly. Tenneth is a cleric who has achieved the 6th progression. Once he achieves the 7th progression, he'll be able to cast level 4 spells just like Raisha can, which he's quite excited about, though it might be a while before he achieves it. Shinfia is a monk who has achieved the 5th progression. Her new title is Immaculate. Shinfia much prefers the title Master, which she'll be referred to when she achieves the 6th progression, as she knows Latia is going to enjoy teasing her by calling her Miss Immaculate. Jack is a magic user of the 5th progression, or wizard if you prefer, so he can now cast level 3 spells. But in case you didn't notice, the spell Fireball in Forestera is a 4th level spell, so it'll be quite a while before he can cast it. Of course, he'll need to find it again, as the scroll he used to cast it was destroyed. Belfin is a rogue of the 6th progression, and if all goes according to plan, he'll be the first one in the party to achieve the 7th progression. Other than Raisha, of course. Jilgrath is a barbarian necromancer, each of the 5th progression. But the only thing on his mind right now is that he'll be turned back into a man soon, as he's starting to get used to being a girl, which is scaring him. Raisha, as you already know, is a cleric of the 7th progression, so it'll be a while before she achieves the 8th progression. Actually, it'll be quite a while. But I digress. Dalma has achieved the 3rd progression as a ranger, the 5th as a rogue, and the 4th as a druid. But she feels like she's close to achieving another progression both as a rogue and a druid, so she's quite excited about it. Phileas, sadly, was destroyed in battle and is no longer with the party. They hope the dreams that some of them had are true, and that he's with Genevieve now in his gnome heaven, and that he's happy. As difficult as it was for them to let him go, they feel they did the right thing, and that he would have wanted it this way. Had it not been for Raisha, though, and had they not had a lot of money, Jack would be dead too, along with Garlon, the paladin, and possibly others. So they all feel very fortunate to be alive right now, and are just hoping that no one else will die anytime soon. But death is one of the risks that adventurers take when they go adventuring. So they're glad to be back in their home for a little bit, where they can relax and just enjoy life for a while. Now I know you're all thinking that with the crazy endings to Book 2, that surely things can't get more complicated. Can they? Well, about that. Back in the temple, in the Valley of Caves, Mithril went to her private quarters, and Trish was with her. They both sat on the floor, crossed their legs, closed their eyes, as Mithril cast her spell. About 10 minutes later, contact was finally made. Mithril, Why are you contacting me? Where is Raisha? It was the voice of Clavdrea. Mithril, nervous now, took a moment. Hi. We've got a problem.